Oh my goodness. How is everybody doing? Back for another exciting beta read. Oh my goodness. So, yeah, we've had a busy month, order after order, and I'm getting swamped. But today, lucky us, we actually get some time off today. So let's chill. Let's do some beta reads because it's been 3 days since we did the last one. So 2 things. Number 1, ladies and gentlemen, beta reads, we're here to help out the author. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to figure out what is going wrong here before we get these plugs out the way. Just double check. So here we go. Here is my first book, The Yamikage, New Dawn. So interesting, so awesome. Bright Dreadful Sun, my third book. And of course, Not Every Star in the Night. So scary. But ladies and gentlemen, we're not here to talk about my books. We're here to talk about your books. So this should be very exciting. Michael Romasanta, 4-time published author, 5-star beta reader, 5-star ghost writer, editor, and wow, we're starting publishing companies soon, so that's going to be great. We got a few manuscripts sent our way, but this is not that. We're here for beta reads, which is cool because we love helping out our local authors, So, real quick, a big shout out to Phoebe Michaels. Oh my goodness, for giving us permission to beta read this awesome work. This should be good. So, you're not seeing on the screen, but the book is called Cut a Little Lighter. And I think, I can't see it. It has a lighter on the cover. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, so when we do the Fiverr beta reads, the book beta reads, as you guys know, it could take hours and hours and hours. But what this is kind of more akin to a speed beta read, compressed, compartmentalized version of that. Kind of like just going through certain chapters in case you haven't seen the channel before. So, with that being said, let's jump right into this. So, audience out there, the first thing you look at when you see this book, what do you see? A spelling error right at the top. Prologue is not spelled like that, unless you want to say proluge. So, author, editor, definitely talk to them. And say, hey, the first thing you see is a big spelling error right there. It's in bold text, so double check. But yeah, that's just the editor and me just coming out. We're gonna add those 3 perspectives there. So let's just jump right into this. So this is a proluge, a prologue. So what I like here, what is pretty interesting, we get this a lot too. Not all the time, but we have the location, the setting, and the time displayed right there on the top left. A lot of people will use that either to substitute chapters, but she's not doing that here. I saw a table of contents. Oh yeah, by the way, I haven't read this yet. So the way it works is kind of like just opening it up as a reader for the first time. So yeah, that should be good. So with that being said, not this author, but just authors in general, if you're out there, double check that you're not utilizing this to substitute for proper setting descriptions. Very important. So, yeah, everybody knows first line, first paragraph, first chapter, first page in a novel is one of the most important ones. So I really pick apart this first page. Let's delve into it. So we're beginning a dialogue. Pretty interesting. I often don't recommend that unless the dialogue is almost symbolic of a way, maybe over-encompassing, contributing to the aesthetic. I love when the main character and the setting is presented almost immediately, elevated. I love that. But right here, we are opening on dialogue. I would take that out. I would eliminate that. Everything will be okay. Well, for me, that is. Double check the editing, but that is interesting. I would not open on the dialogue here, or rather I would say reformat the dialogue to really, really come out the gate strong. Get some imagery in there, sensory detail, emotion even. Yeah, get it all out there. Same with the elevated dialogue tag. I would like to see the man sneers. I would like to see that elevated. Ladies and gentlemen, authors out there, you could use as and to do that. The man sneered as he did that and also did that. Very helpful. Now, you don't want to do that every time. But during these hot spots, you want everything to be elevated. So with that being said, we're not opening with the main, but we're opening on 2 silhouette characters as it stands. So yeah, this first page, we really pick it apart line by line there. But yeah, we're going to keep going. So the woman cries, maybe right there you could add some sensory detail or emotion. Nonverbal communication is great for that. And it looks like, she actually is giving some nonverbals right there. Oh, by the way, my screen, I have 2 screens. The other one's there. So if you see me looking over there, that's not because I don't want to talk to you, or I don't want to look at you, because I do. I want to look at everybody because everybody is awesome, but I want to look at the writing. So the woman cries as a knife is aimed toward. Maybe you could describe. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we have here is a plot moving object. When an object moves the plot, you want to give it some description, a unique characteristic of some sort. There's actually a lot of ways you could describe a knife. There's a lot of ways you could describe mundane objects. And some knives are ribbed, some are razor sharp, some are dull. There's a lot you could do there. So maybe I would go back and describe your plot moving object, give it a unique characteristic. Same with the character profile. There's a lot to pick apart here. Her face, go ahead and elevate character appearance. We want that. Ladies and gentlemen, we want love at first sight. Love at first sight. We don't want to like a character. We want to love a character. So right now, who can we pinpoint as the main? By the first paragraph, I want to know that generally. The famed seared knife will cut through the middle-aged woman's bone with these. Okay, so that's a little bit of contributing to the character profile. Pretty good, pretty good. Her bright blue eyes, there you go, elevating appearance, are filled with terror and pain, emotion. Nice, as a killer horse, his hand on top of hers, keep her from squirming. So we got action. Looks like the author's describing action and motion. Pretty good. Do not neglect that, authors out there. It seems pretty mundane, a mundane concept, but when you are able to describe action and movement, such a good tool to use. So he slowly removing the fingers one by one. That one sentence could turn into literally 3 or 5 paragraphs. So is it because we want excess? No, but we want to basically emphasize, the detail that goes into that, because that's such good real estate for sensory detail. The cut dress in all black, striking midnight hair. So she is elevating character appearance, or author is elevating character appearance. Very good. And very violent. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's usually indicative of genre. So with that right there, we've boiled down a lot of what could be genres. So there's a lot of violence in all different types of genres, but let's see. Right now, we know the world building is set in the real world. Understand that, there are other ways to kind of elevate the actual earth we live on. Different ways to do that, but this does not seem like the type of outlandish fantasy novel to do that. This is maybe it could be a cozy mystery, regular mystery. Let's see. Or maybe a horror story. A big fan of those. I've always dreamed of this. One day I could dismember a live body. Rats are great. Oh my goodness. Ooh, I love that dialogue. I want to see that character elevated. I really do. I want to see that character elevated almost immediately. That's sick. Oh, well, I suppose not everyone is as deviant as I. Love the way the unique voice is getting in there, ladies and gentlemen. Notice how his voice, or character A's voice, is contrasting the other one. He even speaks like, oh, well, that's pretty cool. But also at the same time, you want to watch out for filler words like that, filler statements like, oh, well, usually you don't need that. But here it's adding. It's not taken away. That's the point there. He hums an unfamiliar tune. Okay, you could elevate that for sensory detail. That is sensory, but you could still elevate. Ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to sensory detail, oftentimes specifics are better. Sue the Longest Tongue, Ted Bundy. Oh my goodness. What is that movie? What is that show that just came out? Man, that show was messed up. Oh, that was Jeffrey Dahmer. Oh my goodness. What a guy. A bad guy. We're not here to talk about him, but it looks like we got the next Jeffrey Dahmer on our hands here. Jeffrey Dahmer had a lot of unique characteristics in his actual, and at least in the show. Dresses up like a nerdy dude, got the glasses. He's also, his orientation is not heterosexual. So that almost adds like a whole different unique characteristic. So like, let's say this character was just like a mainstream character, had nothing unique. Doing that would set the character apart so much. So it's those small changes in character profile that could really make a huge difference. All right, now why don't we take a look at those eyes? Oh my goodness. I am loving to hate this character. That is what we want to do with our antagonists. Likewise, we want to love our main character, fall in love at first sight. We want to love to hate our antagonist. Really cool. I like that. They are doing a great job elevating character. Coming to you live from Lamar. Specific setting. Nice. Don't be afraid to elevate setting. That last setting was very ambiguous. Like I said in the last video, I don't know if you guys have seen The Matrix. Pretty sure you may or may not have, probably. There's this one scene where everything is just white. They're in this giant, white room. And sometimes when settings are not elevated, I like to picture the characters in there, or rather, that's what it feels like. Now, I would elevate that last setting where they were, where the murder was taking place. I would actually spend a lot of good time on that setting. So it looks like, they're checking off a lot of good marks here. Those could be elevated. Elevates. Especially during these hot spots. I was getting in my car and noticed a hand. That's a tell, not show, but writing a first-person perspective. Double check that your perspectives are consistent. A freaking bloody as hell finger poking at damn. So many women too. So if he's using internal dialogue as a narrative, you want to do two things. Number one, internal dialogue doesn't get quotation marks. What a lot of people will do, they'll use italics. Italics are utilized to show internal dialogue, although a lot of people utilize them for stylizing as well. I would get rid of the quotation marks unless he's talking to somebody specifically. I don't know that. Maybe he is. Sorry, my my own picture's in the way. Thank you for your stating, Jordan. Okay, so he is talking to somebody. Very nice, very nice. Dr. Pepper shake. Damn, that sounds good. There you have it. This is the 20th body part found this month. Jeez, this guy is on fire. I like this story. Oh my goodness. Detective Levi. Okay, so new character coming in. Archetypal character. Detective. So ladies and gentlemen, when you get into archetypal characters, how can your archetypal character be different than the other guys? You know, how can your butler stand out from the other butlers? How can your detective stand out from the other detectives? In the last video, I gave this example of when I had my doctor, my brain surgeon. So most doctors, like, just they kind of wear the same thing, lab coat, uniform. But the unique characteristic for my doctor was that he wore like a suit, like a mafioso suit. So that's just one funny way you could take like archetypal characters and give them some unique characteristics. So what kind of sicko talks about? It looks like that's definitely dripping through the dialogue. It's pretty cool. Don't try to think like crazy, Sally. Sally James. Ooh, I would calm down with the character introductions just for now. I would recommend taking it slow, because I'm still trying to wrap my head around the whole giant murder. Like that right there could be a chapter within itself. So a prologue is used to set the precedent of events before the novel, kicking off the novel at large, and that's not to be confused with the inciting incident, which is a little bit different. Going back up here, you could utilize a dinkus to show the specific passage of time as opposed to the date. But then again, you also have to use a specific passage of time, and the date is acting as it. Oh, there's more novels over here. Oh, so this is a website. I actually don't know this website too well. I've heard of it before. Wattpad. What? What do you say? Oh my goodness. Chapter 1, frogs. Oh my goodness. So now we're in Texas. Usually not a fan of these. Sometimes authors will use those as a substitute for setting. So when I see these, I'm always double checking the timeline. I'm always double checking the locations. Really big in fantasy. We see this a lot in fantasy where these are utilized almost as like, I don't want to say cop-outs, but more like substitutes for proper setting descriptions. Definitely double check that that's not the case. Not saying it is. Let's double check. Jackson, it's time. Using italics or stylize. I like stylizing. Maybe the first page could use some stylizing. A voice call from the depths and utilize sensory detail, please. Jackson, a boy of 11 years. Okay, I live in a character profile. Age is part of the character profile. Good job. And that was in mine required to clans, left in the car. His father was a butcher. So, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead, double check. What is the character count? We got the murderer, the murdered lady, the detective, the chief, the father, and now we got Jackson. So we got 6. I usually recommend keeping it so, just a nice handful. So much at once could be like a lot of people are walking into your room. Like it's like kind of like whoa, music producers, that feeling where just like out of nowhere a bunch of people just walk in uninvited, and they're like trying to get to meet everybody but also work, because when I was a music producer, that was a big thing. And I like to attribute this to that is when you got a session, you expect like maybe 1 or 2 people, and then a whole room of people come in there. It can be very similar to writing. Sometimes it's not having quite that effect right there, but it is a little bit more than I would recommend. His boots could be described because it's causing action right there. It's breaking over. The setting could be elevated, but a lot of times it's same thing with the archetypal roles. Same with archetypal settings. How can your archetypal setting be different than the other ones? How can your forest be different by the other forests? I got a feeling that guy's dumping bodies in here. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. So slimy is ew. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What the? Oh, so I think we might. Okay, I'm gonna double check. I don't want to spew this out just yet, but I think, man, there's a word for this. I forgot what it's called. I keep forgetting. I looked it up the other day too. Where the story starts off. It's a Latin word where it starts off in the future, and I don't think that's what's happening here. But anyways. And then we go back to the past, like maybe he's right now, like kind of like discovering murder for the first time. I don't know, but we don't know that, so let's keep on going. Once again, his face splattered with metallic smelling liquid. A lot of gruesome stuff. Okay, so she's describing smell, I believe. Yep, yeah, absolutely. Sensory detail and smell. That's a really good one. Ladies and gentlemen, authors out there, if you could describe smell wonderfully, definitely really elevates the novel. Why does sensory detail work so well? It's because they're neurological triggering words. Okay, so when your brain, especially during the theta state of mind, which usually happens when people are deep into a novel reading, you really want these words to stand out. So smells, hears, and tastes. Your subconscious mind cannot differentiate between reality and what's not reality. So definitely, authors, go ahead and get those neurological stimulating words in there. I like how she has smelling. Sarah in the plump right here. I like this page better than the prologue. That's for sure. But I did like the prologue too because it started off with action. I love when that happens. Now, boy, I'm off to work. Be good for your Nana now. Now we got Nana. Mm-hmm. Elderly woman, fascinating child. I want to spend time with those detectives. I want to spend time. I don't want a random character coming in here. If anything, I would pepper in that relevance immediately. Close his father. Squirrel traps. Oh my. Okay, Texas. We're in Texas and they're trapping squirrels. Don't do it. Leave the squirrels alone. Oh my. Okay, tell some investment. After he finds himself with a bag full of goodies, he goes to start the fire. Okay, describing action again. That's nice. Okay, scoring violently and Chris. George R. Martin, if you read Game of Thrones, the actual book, really good at describing nonverbals. World building every step of the way. This is not a world building novel. Those outlandish ones. But pretty cool stuff happening here. So technically, she's building, or they are building a interesting situation where in this world, there's a serial killer that we don't know about. So that technically is world building. Very cool. You want to make the foreign feel familiar. That's the goal with world building. Catch another body, dismember frogs. I feel like these frogs are trying to symbolize something through subtext, and I really want to keep on reading. See, that's good. It's got that hook in there where I'm like, what the fuck's up with the frogs? I like that. Oh my goodness. Nana snores. He grabbed the chocolate. Jackson this and the animals. Plugged in the blender. What is going on? Oh my goodness. What's green and red goes on? This is good. Oh wow. So this is lip dipping into one of the genres I write too. So in Not Every Star in the Night, I'm all about this. There's a lot of gruesome material in there, and I sit there and I think, why did I write this? Like, where did that come from? Authors, I think you know that feeling too, where you're almost surprised at the own content you write. You like kind of like what? It's like this is some gruesome stuff. Like this is something I would write in Not Every Star. Now I've gone back to the fantasy for the next book, and I actually just wrote 2 other books, but those are for clients, which is beautiful. 3. Oh my goodness. But yeah, we've been killing it this month. Oh my goodness. Chapter 2, Facade. Usually these videos tend to go like 30 minutes. I'm only doing chapter 1, but let's dip into chapter 2 a little bit, because dude, you guys see how that hook really wants to reel you in. I'm like, what's up with the frogs? Paris, Texas, January 2008. January 18, sorry. 2008. Levi, it's time. Okay, so now we got Sister. This is a little bit too many characters for my personal liking. I would love to spend time with maybe just really one strong main and maybe 2 or 3 side characters that are really strong. Less is more. Authors, we usually end up finding that out in due time, but definitely I like how the sister, is the Sarah sister going to have character profile and appearance contributed immediately? And we want to know. He knew his mother was, that's a tell, not show. You want to show, not tell. Double check that. His sister guides him to this. They look inside, but the creature inside was not his mother. So we're in third person limited, not omniscient. So in third person limited, the third person narrator does not know everything. Oh my goodness. But the third person omniscient narrator knows with certainty. So we see that he's not, the narrator is not sure. Also, the sentence at the top has a double conjunction. Maybe I want to double check those. As the coffin closed, maybe describe the coffin. That's beautiful real estate. I like another thing we usually comment on is presentation. Now, we got this really neat presentation, very solid. I don't know if that's because of the website or because of the actual .docx, which this is not. If I received the .docx, I would definitely really delve deep into presentation. But this is already published and on a website. Oh, by the way, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is already published. This is technically not even a beta read. It's more like a review, kind of. But I'm more than happy we do those. Love it. Especially this story. This story's nice. Last names can help add familiarity. Like Levi, I don't know about this character. We're going to stop at Thump. Oh, my goodness. I might read the rest of this. I got more of these videos to do after this, but man, this is pretty cool. Definitely. Now, for the past 2 weeks, we've been receiving a lot of different interesting manuscripts. I think this is the first one we've got gruesome horror this month. And it's all Halloween. Come on, guys. Let's get some gruesome horror in the mix. Love this. We got that right here where we need it. So thank you, author, for bringing that Halloween spirit out. Oh, my goodness. I would actually blast this on social media. I would get that out there like ASAP. Like maybe try to sell it, publish it. Now, this is on a website, but this, I feel, with some elevation, is strong enough to be a paperback. Needs some elevation, possibly more word count. Take it slow, too, if you want to do that. I recommend a paperback, because if I got a paperback novel, let's say I got this at the library, started reading it, I'd be like, okay, this is sick. You know what I mean? So I would maybe take it, now keep it on the website, but I would actually make it a real book, a real novel, as to say, as in one that you could pick up and hold with your hands. I believe it would be able to stand apart as one. Maybe it already is one. I don't know. But right now it's only on Wattpad. I see a lot of good stories that I'm just like, oh my goodness, that could be an actual, get it out there on paper. This is one of those books where I'm like, okay, you know what? Go ahead, publish it. Peaceful. And yeah, we're stopping there because we got more videos to do at 20 minutes here. Oh my goodness. Good job, author. Great time. This is a really fun read. Big fan of the genre. I write this genre. Very gruesome. I love that. I love, I'm not going to comment on presentation. This is already on a website. Maybe a pull back on the characters. Literally almost the majority of the time, the majority of the issues with authors is just, you know when to pull back. Know when to elevate. There's a lot of things that could be elevated. There's some tells in there. But overall, I like this one a lot. Yeah, so I would pull back just a little bit, but then elevate what needs to be there. Maybe work on some settings, like Paris, Texas. And let me see if I get the mouse. I need a laser pointer. So I don't know. I'm not saying this author's doing it, but a lot of authors do, where they use this to substitute a proper setting. I'm not seeing a lot of settings, so I'll really work on the settings. Sensory detail could help, although there's a lot of this present. So, ladies and gentlemen, the author is just check mark, hitting a lot of good ones. It's almost like they're almost all present. Maybe just need elevation. So, with that being said, author, keep practicing. Ladies and gentlemen, keep on writing. Get that 500, get that 1,000 words in today, and wish us luck over here. Oh my goodness, we are busy. But we love it. So, yeah, have a good one. Good job, author, and keep on writing. Look out for this one. You can find it on Wattpad. Once again, it's cut a little lighter. Cut it. Maybe even a different title. I feel like that title doesn't do it justice, but, I don't know. I haven't read the whole book. But anyways, at the same time, just good stuff. All right, take it easy, y'all.